LP Army will teach you the way to be LP warrior starting this day. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Thereupon we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Spot, Kirby, ask, use them all. Winning's the task, we heed the call. Bootcamp, join our ranks so tight. Listen to the Goose Gang and gain your might. We will praise and we will earn. Once you gain his tokens burn. Join the ranks of the brave and bold. Story of the LP Army told. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Thereupon we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Poach your wings with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Thereupon we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the run and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Oh.
GMet, y'all. Welcome to the LP Army Bootcamp. Super excited to see all of you guys here. Got some guest instructors joining me today. Photon Magic, Gosha, and one of the OG Bootcamp instructors, Geek Lad. Welcome and thank you for joining me today. We're going to go ahead and get this started. So yeah, here we go. So today we're going to be covering the basics in this, and the next lesson tomorrow we'll be covering more advanced topics. But this course is for educational purposes only. Completing and graduating this doesn't grant you any airdrop, meta allocation, or NFT or anything like that. The education is your reward. Some prerequisites for this course: you're going to need a Solana compatible wallet funded with Sol. We recommend that you have at least one Sol to get started. You should already know how to buy and sell tokens on Jupiter and a very high level understanding of cryptocurrency. And our disclaimer. So we are not financial professionals, so this should not be construed as financial advice. Any investments you make, you do so at your own risk. You should not use any funds that you can't afford to lose. So there's that. As so DYOR, NFA, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm your instructor. I am Heavy Metal Cook. I'm one of the 3 LP Army leads, bootcamp lead, moderator. Been with Meteora since January 2023. Done a few things. I love weightlifting and heavy metal, of course, and of course cooking. But that's enough about me. Let's get this going. During this course, we ask you to use the chat for your questions. Keep them to the point. My fellow instructors here, Photon, Geek Lad, Gosha, and Rich King have all joined to help out today with those questions. So they're there to help you with those things. Just post your questions there and they'll help you out. Try and follow along. Do these with us. You must complete both days of this course in order to graduate. Now, if you've done a previous boot camp and you got the boot camp trainee for day 1 last time, you don't have to complete the forms this time. But if you don't have that, you got to do both days in order to graduate. And of course, we love feedback. I love feedback. If you have suggestions, share it with us in the Discord. I take a lot of feedback that way and trying to implement that into our next courses. The forms, we'll get to that. It'll come to you later in the course. Just be patient. We'll get to you. Okay. So this right here is some bootcamp resources. We've got some definitions and additional reading, some documentation, and great X accounts that you can follow. So yes, we will show this again later. If you're on a PC, you can use Google Lens to scan that QR code there. It's not the form, it's just additional bootcamp learning resources for you. So yeah. Okay. Moving on. Some of these definitions, and I'm not going to go through all of these, but there's some key ones that I want you to be really aware of because they pertain to liquidity providing. Those on the right, you really need to understand TVL. It could be talking about the total assets within a pool. It could be talking about just your liquidity that you provided, but it's like the total value of all these assets, usually represented within US dollars. Volume is that amount of trading over a given period of time, usually in 24 hours in US dollars, usually. Volatility is a very key term that you need to understand. It's how much a token moves up and down over a given period of time. So up, down, lots of it, more volume or volatility. This is a great thing. You need to understand market cap, all these things. So anyway, this stuff is in the bootcamp resources. If you're not already familiar with these terms, so yeah, I'm going to move on. So we're going to talk about what a CLMM is, concentrated liquidity market maker. A traditional automated market maker is not very capital efficient because it spreads out your liquidity across an entire range of like 0 to infinity. And the CLMM helps to fix that. And here's a visual representation of that. It's a little bit easier to see. In your standard AMM like this here, we can see, here's all your liquidity. And say the price trading is all happening between $30 and $35. Well, your liquidity is sitting out here outside of that range. It's doing nothing. It's not earning you any fees. So in a CLMM, we can see here that you can focus your liquidity just right with where the price action is happening. This allows you to generate more fees off your liquidity. Now, of course, you can put a little bit on the outsides in case price swings. So that is the disadvantage, because if the price moves beyond where you've defined your liquidity, you stop earning fees. but we're gonna keep going here. Before we move on to anything else like that, I'm gonna talk about vaults, dynamic pools. There's two types, and I'm gonna show you both here. Let me just change gears. Okay, so I'm on app.meteora.ag, and yeah, there we go. Let me zoom in just a hair here. Okay, hopefully that's a little better to see. So I've already connected my wallet, and I'm going to start with the vaults, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the vaults, but this is a place where you can do lending. You can deposit money into these tokens and it'll earn you a little bit of yield. It's using these other protocols like Camino and Save. I don't actually recommend that you deposit money here. You can probably get a better return somewhere else. You will not earn any points with Meteora by depositing here, but it is a pretty safe place to put money. But the reason why I'm showing you this, it'll be relevant here in just a moment. I'm going to switch over now to pools and go to the DAM V1, or Dynamic Automated Market Maker. The DAM V1 is very similar to a traditional AMM. And here, you can search for any token you want by using the contract address or token name. You can have it suggest tokens or pools just based off the tokens you actually hold in your wallet. And a little safety feature here is you can tell it to use verified tokens only. So anything that is not verified with Jupiter, you can filter those out by using that here. But there's definitions on the type, whether it's a liquid staking token, dynamic, stable, volatile, so forth. You can sort by the TVL. So that's like this particular one. It's got 9.66 million in it. You can sort by the 24-hour volume. So this one, like, for example, has had about $4.5 million worth of volume, and the 365 estimated yield over TVL. And we'll see here any pools that you see with the Meteora logo. Meteora themselves created it. Now there's a couple different differences in these types of pools. I'm going to quickly show you these things. In the USDC USDT stable pool, on top you'll see the allocation of liquidity here. Of the two tokens, it's not 50-50. It changes based off of the market, really. But you'll see here, like, this is 83% and 16%. You have the ability to copy this contract address for the token, do a rug check, bubble map. We'll talk more about those later. And you'll also see the Jupiter score for the two tokens. Your current price. The virtual price is a complicated topic to cover, and there's some links in the Meteora docs to talk about that. The main thing that you need to understand is that if it's above 1, this is good. It's going to list the 24-hour volume, how much volumes happened in the last 24 hours. The 24-hour fee, this is how much in fees this pool has generated for the liquidity provider in the last 24 hours. And then we have 24-hour yield, and this is different. And this is something unique about the DAM V1 is any tokens in this pool that are also found in the vaults are earning lending yield. So you don't need to deposit into the vaults to earn yield off of that. You can earn some yield by using the DAMV1 if one or more of the tokens are in this vault. The liquidity provider fee, this is how much this is how much you're earning off of trades that hit your liquidity. And then there's the protocol fee. This is how much Meteora takes on these Meteora created pools. It's 0, so they're not taking anything off of that. And then we have the AMP, which is also another complicated topic to cover. It's just on stable pools. There's information in the Bootcamp resources in the Meteora documentation that'll tell you more about it. Of course, you've got links to pool charts. So anyway, let's talk about how to deposit. There's 2 different ways to do it. A balanced deposit, which is recommended. If you uncheck that, it's going to give you a warning, because what it's going to do, if you only deposit one of the tokens, it's going to automatically swap in order to meet whatever the ratio is here. So if I was to swap this, then I would have 83% of USDC and then 16% of USDT. It's not that big of a deal in this particular pair because these 2 are about $1, but that's what would happen if we did that. Balanced deposit, I'm going to say give me, and you can actually go here and you can specify a percentage. Like if you want to say, I only want to put in 10% of this, hit save. Now click, and then 10% of whatever my balance is here. And then it's going to automatically match the USDC here. I'll just go ahead and make a little deposit here so that you can see what that looks like. And there we go. We have here's where it shows how much I've deposited into this pool. Now, the DAMV1, all fees and lending yield are automatically compounded back into the pool. You cannot claim them separately. And the only way for you to know how much you've earned is to record yourself how much you deposited versus how much you can withdraw. So you kind of have to do your own math. Now, the DAMV1 will create an LP token. It'll end up in your wallet. Don't burn this. Don't lose it. It's your receipt. If you burn that LP token, you can never withdraw that liquidity. So just be careful with that whenever you do that. I'm going to leave this money in there for now, but if you were to withdraw, it's as simple as that. You can do an imbalance withdrawal. I'm not sure why you would want to, but you can. So that's that. I'm going to show you something else with dynamic pools, and I'm just going to pick a random one with the meme coin here. So we can see here, we've got a couple warnings on this. It's just telling you this is from Jupiter. It's not a verified token and low organic activity. Here, there is a liquidity provider fee, and on the DAMV1, it is 20% of that. So that's being charged. And that's 20% of the protocol fee. So yeah, I'm sorry, 20% of the liquidity provider fee. My apologies. The protocol fee is how much Meteora is taking off of this here. So anyway, that's enough about that. Let's go talk about the DAMV2. And okay. Oh, and I did see, yeah, DAMV1 does not earn points anymore. Thank you, Rich, for mentioning that. So the DAMV2 new version, and you'll see one of the differences here with the DAMV1, there's only one pool per pair. On that, it's not possible to create multiple pools, but the DAMV2, you can create multiple pools. And you just click to expand, and you'll see the top 3 recommended pools. If you click show all, it'll show you all the pools that have ever been created for this pair. Going here, this is one of those pools here. We can see there's over $13 million locked in here. Of course, again, it's not a 50-50 distribution. Pool price, 24-hour volume, 24-hour fee. And you'll notice here that there is no yield listed. Number one, none of these tokens are in the vault, but the DAM V2 does not utilize the vending vaults at all. That's a major difference between the DAM V1 and the DAM V2, is it does not use the vaults at all. So we have our base fee. Cool thing about the DAM V2 is dynamic fees are possible. Of course, there's the liquidity provider fee and the protocol fee, 20% of the liquidity provider fee. It's actually off the fee collection token. So here's a difference as well. You can have the pool can either give you your fees in both tokens or just one. This particular pool is set up to give you fees in both tokens. And then the fee scheduler, this is not on every pool, but this one is a linear one. So over time, it started at 10%, and then after a minute, it went down, and it went down again. And there's different ones out there that you'll see. And I'm gonna show you more examples here now. This particular meme coin, I wouldn't actually deposit in this one. It looks like there's nothing in it, but we can see here on this linear fee scheduler, it started out at 50%, and over time it slowly went down to match the 6%, which is the base. This one is giving you fees only in SOL, so only the quote token. So that's a cool thing that I like, because whatever this token is, I'm not interested in having that one. So I want all my fees in SOL, and so you can do it that way. That's awesome. Let's see another example here. This one, you're getting the fee collection in only SOL, but there is no fee scheduler. This one just started out at 2%. It does have dynamic fees, though there's currently no volatility on this, so there's no dynamic fee. It's just at 0. And then here's another example here of one where the fee scheduler is set to exponential. So it started out here at 45%, and over time it starts to drop a lot more dramatically than the linear did, just down to this. And the idea here is starting with a really high fee is, whenever a token first launched, especially a meme coin, you've got snipers coming in and they're hitting that thing early and fast. Well, this is going to make them pay to snipe. So you're charging them a really high fee with that. But over time, as the token goes on, you have more buyers, more pools are created, you need that fee to drop to remain competitive. So that's why that exists. If you have sandwich attacks or MEVs, and if you don't know what that is, go Google it. I'm not going to go into that explanation. But you can earn fees off of those as well. These things are also used as regular launch for like Huma here. This is the main pool for Huma. They launched their token using the DAM V2. And so that's why there was no fee scheduler here. This is the main pool for that particular pair. It does have dynamic fees or whatever. So let's do an example. Let me just find one here. Sol USDC. That's not the one I want. That one looks weird. Oh, something else I wanted to show you guys. I forgot to mention before. The DAM V2 in general is like a traditional AMM where the liquidity is not concentrated, but it is possible programmatically to concentrate the liquidity. This particular one has a set price range, so it focuses that liquidity a little bit more instead of spreading it out so much. Of course, if the price of the tokens goes above or below, then you stop earning fees until it comes back into range. So yeah, let me go back here. DMV2, we'll do a deposit. Here we go. Here's one that it's defining a price range of 70 to 440. I'm going to go into this one. There's no fee scheduler, no dynamic fee. I'm getting my token in both tokens here. You have no choice but to do a balance deposit in the DAM V2. It will not auto swap for you. So you just have to do it this way. I'm going to make this deposit, and it's telling me insufficient balance. Sometimes whenever you run into that, you can just change this percentage to something else. I'm going to select 99%. Hopefully it doesn't give me trouble here. There we go. So now I've made not my deposit. It's not very big, but I've made a deposit here. And one of the differences here on the DAM V2 is that the fees are not automatically compounded back into the pool. They are claimable separately from that. So you'll see that there. Withdrawal is the same. There is a swap function on DAM on all pools. This swap is to swap only within this pool itself. Generally speaking, it's not recommended to do that. You're going to get the best price if you use Jupiter, and you do have here in the lower left-hand corner a handy integrated Jupiter swap function. It's right there for you if you want to do that. Do use that to get the best price. We're not really going to talk about locking liquidity. This is usually just for like token creators. If you lock liquidity in here, there's a permanent lock, and permanent means permanent. It's forever. You'll never withdraw. You can only claim fees off of it. And there is a non-permanent way to do it. Generally, this is just for like token creators. I don't recommend that you use that. Another function is that you can define slippage, and that's for liquidity slippage. So when you're putting tokens in, and if something's very volatile, it's moving a lot, and you're having trouble depositing, you can change your liquidity slippage to something higher in order to have the transaction not fail. So there's that. I am going to pause and see if we have any questions that I need to answer here. Yep, I will get to the DLMM here in a bit. Okay. All right. It looks like my other instructors are doing a great job of answering the questions. And we will talk about how to find tokens here in a bit. So let's get back to the presentation. Let's see what's next. Yeah. So a little bit on DAM V2, how to find opportunities. One, in our LP Army Discord, there is the DGen DAM chat. So you can go there, and guys are talking about tokens. It's like, hey, this pool, it's running, it's doing really good. The thing about if you're doing memes on the damn V2, you got to be quick, because a lot of times what you're getting is the sniper and the MEV volume off of that. After that, sometimes you don't get very much, or it can slow down quite a bit. So you got to be quick with those. But launches, it does work. It's great. I have a QR code here for some people on X who have great strategies. You follow these guys, but there's links directly to the strategies that they're using. So now, and there's a handful of tools. This is not all of them. We're going to talk about Rocket Scan, Jupe Pro, and Axiom kind of briefly, but let me just switch over to those so you guys can see how we do that. Okay, so the first thing is Rocket Scan. I just wait for that to load. Rocketscan.fun. Okay, so I'm not going to go super deep into these tools, but this is a great tool to use. It's free. You can track new DLMM pools and new damn V2 pools as they are created. But here we're going to look at discovering tokens here. We'll get it right here into the dashboard. And this can actually happen very quickly. It updates every 5 seconds. So things can pop up like here, top token changed. But if you hover, it'll pause so that you can read. Like this particular one that's coming out, it's got $172,000 market cap. You can copy the contract address here. You can see how much liquidity exists, the buys and sells, 5-minute volume, and so on and so forth. There's links directly to charting tools. You can click this link to check to see if an existing damn V2 pool exists. And of course, you have some filters here that you can see. Maybe you just want to see what's pumping, right? Or maybe you want to see what's dumping. You can earn money off of a token that's dumping. You know, people prefer pumping, but dumping can also earn money. Lots of different choices here. You can specify just specific launch pads, such as Pump Fun, Bonk, so on and so forth. Jupe Studio. You can filter out what you want, what you don't want. You can even define market cap ranges. So if you want to say, don't show me anything that's under, say, 50,000 market cap, you can set that filter and it'll get rid of anything else that's not in there. So this is a great tool to use. Next, we're going to go and look at Jupe Pro, or jupe.ag/pro. And I want to look at 5 minutes and then the percentage change over time. And I want to see the up, right? So this token right here in the last 5 minutes, it's been up over 30%. If you were to sort the other way, you could see what's dumping, but I'll just sort by the up. And so that you can see what's hot, what's coming out. You'll see the age, like this one's been out for 20 minutes. This one for 8 minutes, and so on and so forth. So this is one way that you can find something that's come out that maybe you want to check out. You will see old tokens in there. It's just what's been happening in the last 5 minutes that's top. We also have axiom.trade/pulse. And wait for the page to finish reloading. Okay, so 3 columns here, brand new pairs. And you see like this is 10 seconds old. Final stretch, this means that it's getting close to hitting the bonding curve. So it's about to bond to a pool. It's reached enough market cap to actually bond. And then this migrated. So that means that the token is bonded and it's migrated to a pool such as a Radium or say a DAM V2, something like that. So brand new pairs, that's probably the most risky. The final stretch, a little bit less risky. And the migrated, well, it's still risky, but these are already done. I would probably stick to these. And these are just ones that, oh, this looks interesting. I'll keep my eye on it. That's the idea behind that. You do have the ability to filter out certain protocols and all kinds of other filters that you can do, stuff for new pairs. So again, I'm not going to go super deep into this, but this is how you can use these tools to find these different things. So, and we did do an advanced boot camp on the DAM V2, and you can find that on lparmy.com. So yeah, this question, how would you use that? Whenever you're looking at brand new tokens, you're just looking for volume. That's the biggest thing. What's the volume? What's really running here? And it takes some time to kind of figure out what's good, what's bad. And it's gambling, right? If it's a brand new token, you don't know. There's a lot of guys that go in with, oh, I'm going to put in 0.1 soul and a prayer. That's how some of it works. But go and look for that advanced bootcamp on lparmy.com, and you'll get a little bit more information on that. So hopefully that helps. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we talk about the DLMM. The DLMM has certain advantages over traditional CLMMs. An example of a traditional CLMM is like, say, Radium or Orca. These guys, what Meteora has done has taken that concept and improved upon it. What's great about it is, number one, you can shape your liquidity. You can focus your liquidity in certain areas, or you can, and we're going to get into all of it, but the point is that you can shape your liquidity to maximize your fee generation. You can do single-sided deployment. So if you say you only want to deposit SOL and not the other token, you can do that. Wonderful function called dynamic fees. So the amount you earn on trades can increase, and that's triggered by volatility, and a lot of other things. But yeah. But now we need to talk about what a bin is. And a bin, in its most simplest terms, is a container that holds liquidity. It can contain an infinite amount of any one or two tokens, or none at all. And only one bin can be active at a time and hold both of those assets. So we see here, only this bin. This is where the price currently is. So it can have both of the tokens. And the bins above and below only have one or the other. Here's a real world example of WBTC and CBBTC. We'll see here at the current price, it's got just a little bit of the CBBTC in it. Now, the price will not move to the next, or it won't move to the next bin until all of one of these tokens is sold for the other. So if the remaining CBBTC here gets sold for WBTC, the price will move up, and then it'll make this the active bin. If it goes the other way, it would go down. And go to the next slide here. On the top, you will see your liquidity in the pool. That's just what you've put in. And then below that, you'll see the liquidity of yours and everybody else's. So you don't own bins. It's not just yours. It's your liquidity plus everybody else that's deposited within that same range. So yeah, and bins themselves don't move. They're static. You can have lots of bins, but once a bin is created, it stays at that specific price point. Now, we talk about the bin step. The bin step is simply the difference in price between any two consecutive bins. There's different sizes of bin steps, and there's reasons for those different sizes. We'll get into that. But the bin steps, it translates into basis points, and that's basically a decimal representation of a percentage. So here's the math breakdown of it. This one bin step pool, that's 1 basis point. That means 0.0001. Okay. If you want to do the math for what's the next bin, what's the price, you take the current price and you multiply by 1 and the basis point. So we've got 1.0001, and that's how we get the price of the next bin higher. If you want to go down, you just use division. It's simple enough. Here's a visual representation of a 50 bin step pool. We'll see here this price of SOL per IO, 0.01231. We multiply by 1 and the basis points here to get the next bin price. So that's how it goes up. You'll notice that it's 0.005 because it's a 50 bin step. So you can kind of see the pattern of how this looks, and I'm spending a little bit of time on this. This is, when you get to the test, you'll know why. But you can see the pattern here. The higher the bin step, the greater difference in price between any two bins. Here we could see a price of 169 to 169.25. This large bin step only required 2 bins to cover that much difference in price. A smaller bin step may require 8, for example, to cover that same amount of price. There's pros and cons to using both, and we're going to get into that. But pools can have any of these following bin steps. There's lots more. This is just an example of some of them. Now, only certain base fees are on the bin steps. For example, here, 5% base fee are limited to these bin steps. So you can't have a 5% base fee on a 1 bin step pool. Smaller base fee generally is smaller bin steps. Larger base fee, larger bin steps. The idea behind a larger bin step is that you can cover a wider price range with fewer bins. And the smaller bin step, you are focusing more of your liquidity into a tighter price range. Again, there's more pros and cons to all these that we're going to get into. So here, why does a lower bin step generate more fees? Well, it does, because you can have more fee events. So we see here, this one bin, the price action happening there, there's just one fee event. But as it, in a lower bin step, it'll move across and you'll have more fee events. And the more it's moving from bin to bin to bin, that's triggering those dynamic fees. That's that volatility. So if the price was here swinging back and forth, that's very, very volatile. And the more that it hits these, the more of the dynamic fee is going to be triggered. So, yeah. Thank you, Geek Glad. He's got that. Okay. So now we talk about the basic strategies for the DLMM. There's 3 basic shapes. You can combine these and we'll show you, but to start off, spot is the even distribution. All the tokens across all the bins are equally distributed. And this is similar to a CLMM. It's all the same across. Spot works in almost any situation. If you're not sure what to do, you can use spot. It is a great choice if a token is very, very volatile and it's staying within a defined range. You're going to earn the most fees off of it moving back and forth in that area. Curve is a really concentrated approach here. You're focusing the most of your liquidity into a very specific price range because you're expecting it not to move very much. So you're maximizing what your capital can do. Out on the fringes, if the price moves out here to the fringes, you're not earning as much because you have less liquidity out there. It might be one of the least used of the 3 strategies. Now, bid ask, an inverse curve distribution, it can be used to DCA in and out of a token. A lot of times it's used for single-sided deposits, and it's a favorite among a lot of degens, and that is in part because of capital preservation. Just like in trading, you want to buy low and sell high, right? That's the plan. If you're doing it the other way, yeah, you might want to rethink your life there. But as the price of the token goes down, you're going to be buying more of the token at lower prices. And as the price pumps, you would be selling more of the token at higher prices. Of course, whenever the price is down here in the low part of the valley, you aren't earning nearly as many fees. But now we talk about how to stack these. Why would you stack these? Well, here's the spot and curve. Because if the price is out here on the fringes of where you've concentrated your liquidity, you're not earning very much in fees. So we've added a base layer of spot here so that if the price does swing out here, you're still going to earn a little bit more of the fees on that. But you're still focusing most of your liquidity here in this specific spot. Same with bid ask, just the idea here, this layer of spot. Whenever the price is down in the valley, you're not earning as much. So we're adding a little bit here to do that. And you can do whatever percentage that you want. If you want to do, say, 20% spot and 80% bid ask, or whatever percentage you want, you know, yeah, that. Mr. Escobar has asked a great question here. I like this question. Example for curve. Would it be good for stable coins? Yes, that's where curve is most used, is in stable coins, because that price is not moving very far. Perfect example is USDC, USDT, and I'll actually show that here in a bit. But yeah, that's where curve is most used, is in those stable coins. And I will also show how to stack these strategies. Whenever I get to the actual demo of the DLMM, I will show you exactly how that works. One important thing that I want you guys to remember is the difference between a pool and a position. So the pool that's specific bin step and base fee for a particular pair of tokens, you don't own the pool even if you created that pool. It's used by everybody. Pools, once they're created, can never be destroyed. They live on the blockchain forever, as well as the bins that are created within that pool. Your positions is your liquidity that you have deposited into that pool. It only exists whenever you deposit, and whenever you withdraw and close your position, then that is destroyed, and you can have as many positions as you'd like within a single pool. So yeah. Okay. All right. So here's our goals to winning with the DLMM. In a sense, you're basically swapping assets in the pair as the price moves from bin to bin. As that happens, you're earning these fees. It does not auto rebalance like some older traditional AMMs. And there's two ways to profit from this. You get a positive return off of divergence loss, or a positive return from fees. Now, what do we mean here? Impermanent, or more accurately called divergent loss. So you've put money into a pool. They're going to be swapped one for the other, hopefully. And it's unlikely whenever you put liquidity in, especially two-sided, that you're going to get the exact same amount back out when you withdraw. It's possible, but it's very hard to hit that. And once a swap hits your liquidity, you're in something called divergent loss, because the price of the tokens has diverged from where it was. And this is considered versus simply holding the two tokens. This is natural, and a lot of people get hung up over impermanent loss or divergent loss, but it happens the moment that a swap hits your liquidity. The goal is to overcome these losses with fees. So you need to generate enough fees off of your position in order to overcome any divergent, or AKA impermanent loss, to be in profit. Here's a visual representation of that. So I've got Sol Uranus, one of my favorite tokens. I started out depositing like this in a pure spot. This was my entry point. The price of the token went down, so it diverged from where I entered. I am now in a negative divergent loss. Hopefully, I've earned enough fees along the way to overcome that. And of course, that may take time, some moving up and down, back and forth. But you can still win if you generate enough fees and the price went down. If you've got enough fees to overcome those losses, you can be in profit. And so that's just what we talked about. The most important things that you want to look for when you're choosing something to LP is, does it have volume? Is there enough trading on this token? Is it going to move enough for me to generate some fees? You're also looking at the TVL. If you get into a pool, say by yourself, and you put in $500 or $100 or whatever, there's not much liquidity there for trades to be routed through your pool. You could have the very best price out there, but if you don't have the TVL, you're not going to get the trades. So a pool with a higher TVL is going to attract more swaps. So that's something that you may also want to look for. Volatility is a thing that you may be looking for, unless you're looking for stables, but that up and down, again, is what's going to trigger those dynamic fees and earn you more money to overcome your impermanent loss. And then something that we call a positive divergent loss It's just whenever you're withdrawing at a higher value compared to where you deposited. So like if you're doing a one-sided and you want a DCA, you can use the bid ask. All of my tokens were converted to SOL, which is great. The price pumped. I withdraw. I only have SOL. That's the only token that I wanted out of this pair. So, you know, I win. Plus, I've earned fees along the way. So this is one way to do it. Now, it doesn't always happen this way for you. This is the prayer that every DGen has, but it's not always necessarily going to happen. But it is ideal. Okay, so now we're going to drop and get into the tour, but I'm just going to check in on some of these questions here. Okay, great, cool. We'll stop sharing there. You guys are in good hands. We've got a lot of really great instructors in the chat today. And I appreciate you guys being here. Okay. So now we're going to get into the DAM or the DLMM. You do have, and this is a new feature that the team added, this filter. You can ask for it to have both tokens verified by Jupiter or the base token. So that would be like, say, the meme, not SOL or USDC. That's the quote token. I can have it not have these on here, no mint authority, no freeze authority. Maybe I only want to see new listings. There's a lot of choices here. You can even filter by market cap, when a pool was created, all kinds of things that you can choose. They added that. It's super cool. In here, you also see this particular token. You'll see it's got this warning sign on it. It means it's not verified by Jupiter. And they have got some of the most important warnings here that you'll see. A lot of these are not too big of a deal to get twisted about, but you still should do your safety checks. If it has, let's see if we find one. One with a red warning. Oh, here we go. So this Mochi sold 2 red warnings. This particular token, this token exhibits signs of wash trading. So that's kind of danger. We'll talk about wash trading. You may see a warning in here like, oh, this is a honeypot, or this token is not sellable. Stay far away from that. Now you may ask, why do any of those bad pairs even exist? Well, Meteora is permissionless. That means that anybody can create tokens, pairs, pools on here. So now the team does look out for these bad actors, but they've given you these warnings, so don't ignore them. So yeah, going back up to the top here, I am going to look at, actually, let me switch wallets because I want to start off with the stable pair here. Let's see, which one do I have? Let's go with this one. I'm going to go to the USDT, USDC pool. Let's see. Is it this one? Oh no, wait, that's USDC pool, USDT. Here we go. Okay. USDC, USDT. There's 51 pools. I'm going to expand and show you all this. Why are there 51 pools? Because again, anyone can create a pool with any bin step and fee that they want. You'll notice that a lot of these are empty or have next to nothing in them. If it's empty or has almost no TVL in it, very low TVL, it's probably not a very good pool. You'll also notice that on the volume, which you can select 30 minutes, 24 hours, lots of choices here, that just screwed up. Go back into it. You'll also notice that there's not much trading happening on that, right? There's no trading happening on it. What is going on here? Here we go. I'm just going to go straight into the pool here. So again, TVL, how much of each token? It doesn't give a percentage, but it's showing how much of these two tokens are in the pool. This is the liquidity distribution for the entire pool. And you can see people have curved here quite a bit. There's not really much way out here on these fringes because this price of this pair doesn't go very far. Anyway, we'll see our bin step, our base fee, the max fee. So this is the maximum amount that this pool can ever go to is 10%. And that's true on all DLMM pools. The max fee is 10%. We have our protocol fee. This is how much you're earning. Or actually, no, sorry. The protocol fee, that's how much Meteora is taking. It's 5% of the dynamic fee. There is no volatility on USDC, USDT because it stays about at 1. So the dynamic fee is here. And then that we've got, of course, got pool charts. And I actually have a position in this. We'll see here. This is my total liquidity in this pool and how much the fee, how much I've claimed. Here we'll see the current balance of both and then unclaimed swap fees here. Here's an example of a curve that I did. I went really tight because the trading on this pair stays pretty much within this range. So that's why I curved it like that. Let's go do a different example entirely. Let's look at the Sol USDC pool. Show me 24-hour volume. Okay. I'm going to change wallets. All right. So we have a lot of choices here. Bin step 20, 1%. That's not very good. Why is it not showing me the recommended? That's weird. Something weird going on with that. Oh, I'm not sorting by this. Sorry, guys. There we go. Now it's looking correct. So I can see bin step 10, 0.10%. This has got the most TVL in it. It may or not be the best choice. We'll see here bin step 1, 0.001. Well, that fee is less, right, than this here. But again, Jupiter's going to give the swapper the best price. We can see here that even though this one has $11 million in TVL, it's got $18 million in 24-hour volume. This one right here has got $2 million or $2.5 million in TVL, but $34 million of volume has hit this pool. So this particular pair or this particular bin step and base fee is earning more than this one up here. So if we were to go into here, we can add liquidity. I don't have any USDC, so I'm going to go one-sided. I'm just going to put in 0.1 Sol. If I was to do spot, it would look like that. Curve, bid ask. Let's just try and fake this out so you can see what it looks like. Spot, curve, bid ask, right? If we use the autofill feature and I say, give me the max, it's going to balance it. See, like so. Now, we can go over here and we can define, the default is going to be 69 bins, but there is a maximum of 1,400 bins per position. You can define the minimum price and the maximum price, or you can set the percentage. So let's say that I wanted to go down a negative 2% and go up a positive 2%. You'll see here that it's going to have to create 272 bins in order to accommodate that there. Actually, I messed up. There we go, 468. So we need 468 bins to cover this much price range off of this one bin step. Now I'm going to reset the price. Actually, I'm going to refresh the page because it really got me messed up. Okay, so add liquidity. I'm just going to show you a one-sided deposit with the bid ask. I'm just going to leave these at the defaults. We can see down here that SOL needed to create one position is 0.057. If we click here to show the cost breakdown, that'll tell you how much it's going to cost you to deposit into this. There's a rent on the position and it's refundable because this is interacting directly with the blockchain. It's rent on the blockchain. Meteora doesn't keep that money. It's done that. If you try to deposit money into a range that has never existed before, then it's going to charge you to create bin arrays. One bin array is 0.07 SOL per bin array. And I made it mad by doing that, but it's 0.07 SOL per bin array. That's to create the new bin arrays on the blockchain. And since bin arrays cannot be destroyed, that's not refundable. So pay attention whenever you're trying to do that. It will get you. I really made it mad with that. We're going wild here. This is a scam pool right here. We can see off the warnings. This token is not sellable. So that's a scam. Stay away from that. Let's give a better example. I like this better. Troll and SOL. Top 3 recommended. 20 bin step, 0.2 fee, 100 bin step, 1 fee. I'm going to talk more about how to make the correct selection tomorrow. For now, I'm going to go to the 20 bin step and 2%. Let's just make this demonstration a little bit easier. 99%. Yep. Went too far with that. Okay, it's not going to show me that. Let me go back. Let's pick a pool that has no liquidity in it, which is, I don't recommend you deposit here, but I wanted to show you guys what it looks like whenever it's trying to create a bin array. Here we go. So we could see how much is refundable and how much is not refundable. So we can see here that it's wanting to create a new bin array and it's not refundable. This is what I was trying to show you guys. So pay attention to this before you hit add liquidity, because again, that can't be refunded if you do it wrong. All right. Now let's actually make a deposit. Yeah. I'm just going to pick a pool here. I'm going to add some liquidity. Go 0.1. We'll just use spot. We'll just keep the defaults here just for the demo. I hit the add liquidity. Okay, so now we have position. If I click here, I can have it switch between USDC and Sol. We'll see our current balance of the two tokens. I'm one-sided, all that fun stuff, yeah? Okay, I'm going to show you about withdraw. You can just withdraw and close. That'll remove all the liquidity, pull any fees out, remove the position. I get my Sol rent back. I can choose, however, to withdraw just the Sol or just the other tokens here. And I can choose a percentage or define my own percentage of that amount that I want to withdraw. I can take that a step further by defining which bins I want to withdraw. So let's say, for example, I wanted to pull out just this liquidity or just this liquidity. I can just do that. I can hit that, withdraw liquidity. And there we go. Now my position looks like this. Another really cool feature that they've added is zap out to one token. So let's say that I'm done. I want to withdraw. I don't want any of the other meme coin. I only want my Sol. I can hit that, hit withdraw, and it will convert any of the other token into Sol. You could, if you wanted to, convert it into the other one. I urge you to pay attention to this when you're withdrawing, using the zap out feature to make sure that the token here is set to the token that you actually want. There is a 250 bin limit on the zap out. So if you have a position that's more than 250 bins wide, you cannot zap out unless you reduce the number of bins that you're withdrawing. So that's a cool, handy feature there. So anyway, we've earned a little bit in fees. It's not very much. Let me give you guys a better example of one here. Let's find this one. Okay. All right. So we can see here, I've got some of this token 1 and Sol. I've got a little bit in fees and Sol here. If I want to claim those fees to my wallet, I can just hit the claim all fees. If you have multiple positions, it'll claim all the fees for all your positions. You can claim fees off of an individual position by coming and clicking here. And we're waiting. And we're withdrawing. Okay. And that will update this here. It's not instantaneous, but there it just updated. That's how much in fees I've claimed. If I hover over here, it'll tell me how much of the 2 tokens that I've claimed. I could, if I wanted to, put that right back into the position. And of course, you can also define these here. This is a pure bid ask position. Let me show you guys how to stack. So I'm gonna go with autofill for now, and I'm gonna put in 50% of this token. It automatically selected how much SOL to put in. I'm going to leave the default ranges. I'm just gonna hit add liquidity. So I'm putting in some spot. Okay. So now I have 4 cents worth in here. Now I want to stack a strategy. So I'm going to put in the rest of this, and I'm going to say bid ask and add liquidity. And you can keep adding liquidity to a single position all you want. You can add all day. It doesn't matter. You can withdraw, whatever. But that's how you stack a position in all of this. All right. Now I'm going to show you guys. Well, I'm actually just going to withdraw all of that. Close them all out. One other thing about the DLMM, because it does everything on chain, it does not create an LP token or an NFT. And that was something I failed to mention earlier. On the DAMV2, it doesn't create an LP token. It creates an NFT that represents your position. So be careful. Do not burn those NFTs if you see them in your wallet if you're using the DAMV2. But there's none of that with the DLMM. It's all on chain. You won't see anything like that in your wallet. So that's how we deposit and withdraw. Couple other options up here, and these are global options. You can change the RPC that you're using. If you are having trouble with site loading or transactions or whatever, you can try changing your RPC. I would go with the lowest 1 milliseconds at any given time. It's all going to work the same. It's just personal preference here, or what's working best for you. Up here, we define transaction fee settings. Now it's telling you that the DLMM is always using JITO bundles for better execution. But here you can change your priority levels. The higher that you set that, the more you're going to potentially spend per transaction. Go with the lowest that you can get away with just to save money on transaction fees. If you're having trouble landing, you can bump this up. There's the fee mode. We have max cap and exact fee. So here I can define the maximum amount of SOL I'm willing to spend per transaction. So you can set that to whatever you want. If you're having trouble, you can increase the max cap. Just be careful that if you go too high, you may spend a lot of your own money in transactions. Exact fee, if you set this to exact fee, it will spend exactly this amount regardless every single time. I've never encountered a reason to do that personally, but it's a thing. We save our changes there. We have the notifications up here. This will tell you if a position is out of range. You can define this here, turn on notifications. It'll notify you within the Meteora app. If you have Telegram, it will notify you directly that way. You just have to set that up. Once you do it for the first time, it'll take you to the page to get the Telegram notifications. It'll say unknown soul. It does that a lot for non-verified Jupiter positions. And it doesn't tell you whether you're up or down on that. It just tells you that it's out of range. Because once you're out of range, you're no longer earning any fees. Under the portfolio, you'll see everywhere that you've deposited your liquidity. If it's in green, you're in range. If it's in orange or yellow, whatever this color is, you are not in range. So therefore, you are no longer earning any fees. So I'll show you what that looks like here. This one, I've got this little warning symbol here. It's telling me that the current price is outside of that range. So I'm not earning any fees right now. And because it's on the down, I'm probably in so much impermanent loss that if I was to close this, I would lose money. I'm leaving it open in the hopes that the price comes back. Right now, it's not looking too good, but I'm going to keep that open for now. If you have multiple positions, if you are LPing into the same token pair in two different pools, whenever you click here, it'll show you both. So yeah, it's telling me how much I have in unclaimed fees and all this fun stuff. This is a really useful place to go if you have positions open to help you re-find any of these. Switch to this other wallet here. If you have any DAM V2 or DAM V1, this one is a DAM V1 position. We can see that it's here listed. So it'll list all your positions. It will not show you any deposits in vaults. Just DLMM and the two different types of dynamic pools. Yeah. Okay. Kind of all over the place on this today. So, oh, okay. I forgot to show you guys something. Let's go back to that. Okay, Sol USDC. I'm just going to pick the top pool here. Okay. So here we see our price slider, and it looks slightly imbalanced. I can move this slider up or down. It should be at 50-50, but it's slightly off. And that may be because I don't actually have any USDC here. You're not actually changing the price. You're just changing how much you want to have on the up or the down off of that. So we're just, you'll notice here, this price is at 240.77. I'm moving it up and down. It's still 240.77. It's just I'm making it available to go higher than lower. So yeah, if you do that, and then you can hit reset price, it'll move it back to the middle. So hopefully we made that clear. Okay. All right. Back to the presentation. Okay, so here we go, guys. Scan this now. This is the day one form for graduation. There is a test. We don't give answers to the test in chat or Discord, but all of the answers can be found if you watch this course. Feel free to watch the recording of it if you need to. Again, you will find all of the answers. This form will be open. And I said 1 week. It's actually 2 weeks this time. Normally I only do 1 week, but it'll be open for 2 weeks. It's because I'm going on vacation, but these forms will close 4 p.m. UTC on October 5th. I usually get grading done within a couple days, but give me at least a week to get all that done. Roles are granted in the Meteora Discord, not the LP Army Discord, but in the Meteora Discord. The second role, the LP Army private role, that can copy over, and what's the difference between an LP Army private and someone in the LP Army or LP Army role? LP Army private, it's just a role for graduating boot camp. Again, it's not going to give you an allocation or airdrop or anything like that. It's may give you access to certain channels and abilities in the LP Army Discord. It's cool to show. You can, tell your mom, hey, look, mom, I did it. I'm an LP Army private. Put it on your Tinder profile if you're single. It'll probably work, maybe, to impress someone. The LP Army is an honor granted to people who give significant, outstanding contributions to the community. It's not about how much you earn on LP. It's off-chain activities. So if you've got a lot of content and you're helping people and doing all these kinds of things, they'll give that. For context, we have over 16,000 LP Army privates and a little bit over 200 LP Army members. So these are selected by the mods. It's a big deal. It's a big honor to get that. So yeah. Okay. All right. Just more about that community. We have in the Meteora Discord, we have the team, the actual Meteora team. And then we have the LP Army leads. There's 3 of them, myself, Mario, and Alex. Then we have our LP Army mods, moderators. These are not paid positions. They are just there to help moderate the Discord and whatnot. The LP Army that I just talked about, that role, the privates, and then bootcamp trainee. That's what you get for graduating day 1 of this course. I will give links to the Discord, actually. So it's right there, discord.gg/Meteora. That is the main, that one is about the product. If you have general questions about the product itself, it's not for, hey, what's the great token to degen today? If you're having a problem with how something works, this is the place to ask. You can open tickets there. Don't accept DMs from people, claiming to be the team. They're not going to do that, or support. Don't fall for that. You can give feedback on the product. There's channels there for that. And so on. Now, our second Discord is the LP Army Discord. This is the community Discord. So this is where you can get more information on resources to use, tools. There's general chats. This is a great place to find opportunities. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. But 2 different Discords. Meteora is the product, and then LP Army Discord is the community. So there's a QR code that'll take you to the LP Army Discord. After this session, we will be in the bootcamp stage in that LP Army Discord to answer some questions. I'll start that up a few minutes after this session ends. And I will be looking here in just a minute at some questions. I'm going to bring my other instructors up on stage here. And there you go. That again is the link to the bootcamp resources. If you missed that in the very beginning, again, we've got some links to resources such as definitions, Meteora documentation, great X accounts to follow with strategies and information. The information on bins and bin steps, I've got some info in there for you. So it's a lot of great stuff. Feel free to, let me move my mouse cursor out of the way, scan that, get that info, and I'm just going to look over. Guys, are there any questions that we didn't miss or maybe we need to expand on? Crickets, you guys are all muted.
I don't think so. I think we covered everything. Everything in chat was pretty calm. So
All right. Well, hopefully I didn't miss anything today, and hopefully it wasn't too confusing. But that's it. We actually managed to get this done in an hour and a half instead of 2 hours. So yeah. All right. Well, I just extend my thank you again, Photon, Geeklad, Gosha, Rich. Thank you for coming. So yeah. As a perps trader, when would switching to LP benefit me most? So what I would say on that is, you know, you're doing perps, right? You're shorting or you're longing, right? So you have an expectation that it's going to go one direction, right? Or at least that's your hope, that it goes up or down. With LPing, you can make money no matter which direction it goes. If it goes up, you're earning fees. If it goes down, you're earning fees. So you're earning fees on the up and the down. Now, easy mode is, you know, eventually it goes up and you withdraw whenever you're up. But you can still win even on the down, or even if it's below your original entry point, if you've had enough fees to offset those losses. So yeah. What is the bootcamp trainee role? How do you get it? Well, we showed that QR code earlier. You scanned it, you fill out the form, and submit it, and that's how you'll get it. If you missed it, watch the recording later and you'll be able to scan that code and get it. So yeah. All right. Okay. Any other questions? You're very welcome. Yep. We will see you guys tomorrow in day 2. Again, thanks to everybody. We're going to end the stream here. Tomorrow, we will not be creating pools. We do not cover pool creation in this course. And the reason for that is because creating a pool is a little tricky. You have to know how to select the right pool to create for the pair. We did run an advanced boot camp. You can find that on lparmy.com/bootcamp. Look for the advanced boot camps. It was the very first one we did, where there's a lot of conversations on how to create that. If you are new to LPing, I do not recommend that you create your own DLMM pools. Look for and use established pools. And, you know, for one thing, it's going to cost you money. And if you're LPing with a small amount of money, you're going to have to earn a lot in order to overcome that. It costs 0.03 SOL just to create a DLMM pool. Then you've got to be paying the 0.07 SOL per bin array in order to deposit liquidity at all. And it's usually going to be 2 bin arrays. So you're spending almost 0.2 SOL total just to create a DLMM pool. So I would initially stick with pools that have already been created when you're first starting out. Once you really master that, you can start doing your own pools. That is my recommendation for you. So yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this fun little song called We'll Go Far. Thank you all for joining. I'll answer this right quick. Is it best to add only SOL to LP for a meme coin? It's what most people do. It just kind of depends, and we will cover that topic more in depth tomorrow. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you.
Thank you. Great session.
Signals flashing across the sky.